Welcome to First Issues. Hobbies. A lot of people have a favorite pastime that they indulge in from time to time. Others may enjoy gardening, others love painting, others love interior decorating, landscaping, and many other examples. Well, in that regard, it is safe to assume that maybe you have, from time to time, thought about how you can turn your hobbies into a career, working on that thing that you enjoy, and when the right time to do so would be. Well, maybe staying tuned to this next conversation with our guest, Tebogo Bothasitse, would help you figure it all out, or at the very least, the basics of it. Julia is the owner of Jules Delight Nursery and Tea Garden, a quaint entertainment spot just a stone's throw away from the city in the village of Tlokweng. The establishment started operations in September of 2022 with just a small bar area, a deck and a small garden. 2 years later, Jules Delight Nursery and Tea Garden boasts conference facilities, a rose nursery, a restaurant, and many other entertainment amenities. It has not always been like this, according to Jules, who poured all of her financial savings into this place, believing that her hobby of being a host would eventually pay off. Jules grew up loving to entertain her family and friends by throwing small intimate lunches, dinners, parties, and such gatherings at her home. As a professional in the NGO sector, she saved her income with the mind to ultimately have a garden where she will grow her roses and combine that with her love for hosting. According to her, it was not at all smooth sailing, but she is proud of how far she has come. We're at Jules Delight Nursery and Tea Garden to revel in Julia's story and what little nuggets she can share with those hoping to walk in her footsteps. Jules, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We're here today to talk about Jules Delight, right, which is your beautiful entertainment area here in the Nursery Garden. How did we get there? How did Jules Delight come about?
Thank you so much, Bothasitse, for this opportunity. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Julia Tebogo Bothasitse. I originally come from Nursery, but I reside here and I own this business, Jules Delight Nursery and Tea Garden. So this business came about as a passion and as a love for hosting and as a love for gardening. So one day, because I was spending, I think, a lot of money going around hosting people at my house, going around with friends, and then one day I just thought like, okay, because I don't want to work forever, what is it that I want to do? Then I just thought like, let me just try and monetize my passion. So that's how it came about. Just wanting something special to have people who have the same lifestyle. Yes, so basically it was just to create a lifestyle to a certain group of people.
It is so inspirational, right, that you came up with this concept off of just having a passion for hosting. But when turning a hobby into a career, if you will, looking at that, you don't want to be working forever, right? There is the financial aspect of it, which sometimes people shy away from turning their hobbies into careers because of that. So how did you go around that?
Yeah, that's very true, because sometimes you might think like it's a hobby and you miss out in terms of like professionalizing it and making sure that it's a business. So what I did, it was to make sure that I really focus, even though it was a hobby. I focus and make sure that I do things right in terms of like putting up those business systems in place. So that is the most important thing, just to focus and make sure that even the way you invest in it is a way of investing, looking at the sustainability part of it. Because sometimes we think like it's a hobby, it will pass or all that, but you really have to make sure that you conceptualize it in such a way that it can even run it can be sustainable in its way. But at the same time not losing that aspect that it is about love, it is about what you love doing. Yeah, the financing part of it, what I did, because I was still working, I just used my savings and also my salary just from work. And that was the starting up of the business in terms of like putting up with a few infrastructures in place. But when it started running with those few infrastructures, especially the conference room, I made sure that I invest back everything that was coming out of this business into the business. So that's why I'm talking about focus and not being derailed by anything, no matter what kind of needs they might be in terms of like outside your business. So you really have to make sure that you invest back for it to be able to grow eventually.
You talk about being focused, right, and not losing sight of the love and the passion that you have for whatever hobby it is that you might be indulging in. But there have been warnings that sometimes turning your hobby into a career might make you actually hate your hobby, because then it becomes work. In that aspect, where's the focus coming from? How do you focus and keep that love?
I can say it's focus and commitment, first and foremost, in terms of the project that you say that you are starting, which is business. So you must be committed and you must be focused in that. And in regards to making sure that you don't lose that aspect of the love of your hobby, it is the way you run it. Yes, because you know, like it is a hobby and it just comes natural because it's what you love. So it keeps on evolving, but evolving in such a way that is still aligned to the love of, like myself, of hosting. It is about the kind of events that I feel they can be hosted at Jules Delight. Yeah, it is not only about anything. In that way, it means that I will still like be having that love. Rather than if it was just like about quick cash and just chasing money, I'll be just taking anything and then eventually I lose it along the way, even the passion and that love of what I'm doing. So it's about that focus and making sure that you do things right and invest back and keep on like making that love even grow and even like evolve in a much better way. And the other most important thing is also to even align yourself with like people who have the same passion, or maybe who are aligned to your thinking in another way, in terms of the love of what you are doing. In that way, they can give good advices. They can even like come up with other ideas that can enhance and help grow your brand eventually.